4 of the Isuzu UTE A-League season was headlined by a rematch of the 2025 Grand Final. The 50th edition of the Melbourne Derby promised to be a spicy affair, with Victory desperate to get one back over their crosstown rivals. After his opening goal in Victory colours last round, Arthur Dillies will be hoping that World Cup winner Juan Mata can continue his impressive start to the season, whilst Aurelio Vidmar was forced into making a number of changes due to injury, with key players including Matt Leckie and Aziz Bayic missing from the matchday squad.
And here's Caputo. Oh, what a finish! Took it first time. Less than 90 seconds on the clock. And City, who love an early goal this season, have struck again early in the biggest match of the campaign so far. Is it right back as here's Mata. Grimaldi still going. Mata! Good save, Beach. Mata with the left foot at one side, Denny Jonro from the other. This one a bit more pace in it. Again it's there, Davidson fires over. That was a good chance, but only a half chance. With Mata again. Valadon gets it back. Juan Mata still on that left foot. Oh, and that wasn't far away from the top corner. Plenty of holding on as always from the corner. Here's Mata with Grimaldi, a bit of space. Grimaldi hits it. Oh, and brilliant save. Well, it was dipping and swerving towards that top corner. Strong from Jackson. The flick from Davidson. Grimaldi's cross. It falls for Jelassic. Keegan Jelassic deflected over this time.
The A-League is delivering early season.
Matseo's ball. Rawlins not taking any chances. Then we've got the Socceroos. Then a big blue. And then the Tillies as well as the shot and the goal. Antonio, in just his second ever A-League appearance, the 18-year-old has added City's second in the derby. A hammer blow for Melbourne Victory. And now Naboot, well, he does have that in the locker. He is a scorer of spectacular goals. City blue shirts everywhere. Santos gets it back, Santos, oh, and then blazes over. The cutback was from Rawlins. It was another good opportunity for Victory. Can they make him pay? The cross in, back post, Mata! Well, we've seen his quality so far, and a player with that pedigree, he probably should have scored. Look at the celebrations from the Melbourne City players, and on the bench, Aurelio Vidmar and his staff have overcome another huge hurdle. Another challenge, and again the result's not there, but it's not entirely back to the drawing board for Melbourne Victory. Plenty of positives for them to take from this as well. An outstanding contest, and we get to do it all again for the Christmas derby. Mark that in your diaries. But we're finished here this evening. Melbourne City 2, Melbourne Victory 0.
Adelaide United were looking to avoid 3 straight losses when they hosted the Western Sydney Wanderers, who found themselves under early pressure while still looking for their first win of the season. Ayrton Andrioli brought former Spanish youth international midfielder Juan Muñiz into the starting 11 for the Reds, whilst Brandon Barella was missing from Alan Stagic's Wanderers squad with injury, paving the way for Josh Brillante to step in.
Kito, who hasn't seen too much of the ball so far, as Kikianis is caught by Qual. Here's Barbarouses. First chance perhaps for the Wanderers. They're queuing up. It's Kraev, saved by Smits. Well, he had the whole goal to aim for, Božidar Kraev. And that is a huge let-off for the Reds. Wanderers so close to opening the scoring. There is Muniz, brings it down, looking, Jovanovic, the opportunity, great save, Thomas, De Cooley. Well, that was close, and Jovanovic couldn't get the important touch. Here goes Kraev with Barbarousas. Qual in the middle. Kraev as well. Barbarousas looking for Kraev. The header! And just wide. It's a second good opportunity for Božidar Kraev in this contest. It's a better ball for Kraev, able to turn and face forward with Qual. There are options. Qual off the post, so close. The follow-up from Aidan Simmons finds the outside netting. That was as close as anyone's come this evening. And Andrioli will be earning his keep if he can make a change off the bench as Piraeus whips the ball in. Jovanovic turns and shoots and scores. Brilliant individual goal from Luka Jovanovic. And the young Socceroo who opened his account in a losing effort last weekend will be hoping that this goal delivers all 3 points. Cicluna with Barbarousas, his cross, again Kraev is the target. And perhaps Adelaide can break again with Piraeus. Goodwin back for Dylan Piraeus. Jovanovic ahead of him, he finds Yaya Dukuli. Jovanovic working hard across the full front of the attack. Crosses a brilliant ball, Craig Goodwin. His first goal since returning to the Reds. And Adelaide's all-time leading goal scorer has doubled their advantage here. Also allows Cicluna into his preferred central midfield role. Simmons ball in. Barbarousas, Carluccio is there. Kraev. Oh! Well, they've hit the post a second time. Brilliant defending from Kikianis. Adelaide have ended the 8-year drought at home to the Western Sydney Wanderers. Their first win against one of their great old rivals at home since 2017. It is a fourth match without victory for Alen Stajic. It was goals to Luka Jovanovic and Craig Goodwin. 2 goals in 5 second-half minutes, which settled this one in favour of the home side. 2 out of 2 for Friday nights at Coopers so far this season for the Reds. Adelaide United back to winning ways. They have defeated the Wanderers by 2-0.
Having only picked up 1 point from their opening 3 games, Perth Glory were desperate to turn their fortunes around when the Central Coast Mariners came to town in round 4. The match was the first time Vanuatu international defender Brian Kautak came up against his former side, with whom he won the treble during the 2023-24 season, while Storm Roux was set to bring up his 200th A-League game in yellow and navy.
Short from Freeney. Wales comes for it. Has Freeney on the back up. Muir tries to get a foot in. Wozanovski recycles it. And now their header flicked on from Despotovski, but Redmayne was equal to the task. Now a cheeky little attempt here. Andrew Redmayne was almost caught off guard. With Duarte, space out here for Brantman. He's one-on-one with Shamoon. Cuts back in onto the left foot. Oh, Bailey Brantman, what a goal! What a way to register your first A-League goal. Bailey Brantman cuts back in on the left foot and sends it flying past a hapless Matt Sutton. And you'd have to say, against the run of play in this one, a first A-League goal for Bailey Brantman sees the Mariners lead 1-0. Corner into the 6-yard box as well. It's scrambled. DiPizio was there. Sutton didn't claim it on the first occasion. It was pinball, but it fell into the grateful arms of the Glory custodian. And it's a low ball in from Wales, just laid off from Taggart. And almost with his first touch of the game, Bugaria had it blocked. And then on the second attempt, it's just wide of Andrew Redmayne's post. Brandon O'Neill. Taggart can't quite get the flick on. Well, that was the moment for Adam Taggart. So Perth Glory still have 6 minutes to to try to get something. Taggart with the header lays it off for Bugaria. Shamoun and Wales towards the back post. Redmayne comes for it. Oh, he almost has it taken out of his hands by Nathan Paul. Manages to grab onto it at the second attempt. He goes to ground, and it is 3 points on the road for the Central Coast Mariners for the first time since the 17th of January. Storm Roux's 200th match in Mariners colours will end in success. Adam Taggart cutting a really dejected figure after that one. Taggart finishing the match with 5 shots and nothing to show for it. And it is the Central Coast Mariners who inflicts another loss, 3 in a row for the Perth Glory after that opening round draw. It has finished at HBF Park thanks to Bailey Brantman's maiden A-League goal. The Central Coast Mariners 1, Perth Glory 0.
Auckland FC travelled to Sky Stadium to take on the Wellington Phoenix for the first New Zealand derby of the season. Steve Corica's men headed into the round sitting on top of the table, whilst Giancarlo Italiano's side were also undefeated, as both squads looked to come out with bragging rights in what was the 4th edition of this game. The Knicks, though, were forced into a change after attacker Hideki Ishige was ruled out for the rest of the season with a ruptured ACL, whilst the Black Knights were also without their inspirational captain Hiroki Sakai after he suffered a hamstring injury.
Both sides unbeaten this season. Auckland FC won all 3 last season with 10 goals in those 3 games, and they've already defeated the High Line. Jesse Randall, Cosgrove! 28 seconds is all it took for the High Line to be defeated, and for Sam Cosgrove to score his 2nd goal in 2 games. Sam Cosgrove opens the scoring early. Here's Eze! Biting back, and how? He fired Eze into the top corner. And Wellington are level in the derby. Randall beats the High Line again. It bears down on goal! And Auckland have a 2nd. Jesse Randall, all pace, all power, all precision in beating the High Line. Dinked it over the top of Oluwaemi. Did Sam Cosgrove get the final touch? I don't think so. I think you chalk that one up to Jesse Randall, and Auckland FC 2-1 ahead. Auckland FC go looking for a 3rd goal, which really would be fairly crucial. Randall again! Off the post. Oh, Jesse Randall is it the centre of everything good about Auckland FC in the attacking 3rd today. He sent Corbin Piper away. Piper away from Hall. Well, what about it? Ball falls to Nazarene, and it is a red card for Dan Hall, and tempers are flaring. Randall, and Oluwaemi was aware just of what was on the mind of Jesse Randall. Nagasawa into the path of Eze. Vout saves, and he's gone behind for a corner. Not entirely convincing from Michael Vout, but job done. Rogerson's back defending. And goes through, and it is a red card for Logan Rogerson. Auckland FC are down to 9. And against his former club, and to the utter fury of his coach. Towards the far post. Edwards. Rupa! Up and over from Kellen Elliott. They celebrate like a goal.
Well, here's the chance. Alex Rufa on his left foot. Is that creeping in?
Auckland FC's derby domination continues. But I dare you to have imagined this. I challenge you to find better sporting theatre than this. New Zealand's A-League football derby delivers yet again. It's impossible to summarise it all, but there's your final score. Wellington Phoenix 1, Auckland FC 2.
Sydney FC returned to Leichhardt Oval to host crosstown rivals Macarthur FC in round 4. The Sky Blues looked to continue their impressive goal-scoring form, whilst the Bulls were hoping to back up after their midweek AFC Champions League 2 victory. Ufuk Talay stuck with the same starting 11 from the impressive win last round against Newcastle, whilst Anthony Caceres was set to face his former side for the first time following his controversial move across town in the off-season.
Can you have a strong breeze?
Well, the threshold for that might be determined here with this long shot. Oh, Caceres trying to catch out Devonish Mears, and he popped it over the bar. Off the boot, it looked promising.
It did.
Yuli continuing the move. Great movement from Lolly. First time cross. Met by the header.
Good football. Lolly, first time effort with his right foot. Campuzano meets it nicely.
Caceres waits for the right pass to appear. Duran was the answer. It's Rafa Duran. And it goes wide with a touch. Devonish Mears credited with the save as it's behind for a corner.
Great save.
Yuli. Lolly. Just trying to force the ball forward by any means. Campuzano cuts it back. Yuli with the strike. And again, he looks the most likely to make something happen, Rhys Yuli.
Might get his feet navigating this one, but it's a good run into the edge of the box from Rhys Yuli. The general malaise for Sydney, which has been too much static play, was in evidence. No one running through the 6-yard box to finish what would have been a tap-in.
Back on Exler's cross, and the goal arrives! It's Marcel Tisserand! His first goal for Sydney FC. And it is an outpouring of relief for the home side. The breakthrough finally arrives. And the cutting edge comes from the centre-back. It will be Lolly. And it's hit with real venom, but well over the bar. Campuzano lunged in at Caceres but couldn't hold him. Forward go Macarthur, Grosjean. Oh, and the strike is lacking from Rose. And even though he broke his more than 120-game A-League duck earlier this month.
Incredible. What a great opportunity to equalise for the Bulls.
It's Wood, flick header on. Quintal brings it down to the advantage of Wood. He's bustling forward, cuts it across. 2 will do. Joe Lolly makes the point safe. And as the game ticks into its final minute of stoppage time, it will be 3 wins in a row for Sydney FC heading into the international break. And Joe Lolly is there to provide the knockout punch. And Sydney FC will be bringing winning form into the Big Blue on the other side of the international break. They have collected a hat-trick of wins against their New South Wales rivals. The Mariners, Jets and now Bulls all fall to the Sky Blues, and their first outing in the Jacaranda kit is a successful one at Leichhardt Oval. Sydney FC 2, Macarthur FC 0.
Brisbane Roar travelled up the road to the Sunshine Coast Stadium to host the Newcastle Jets in round 4 of the Isuzu UTE A-League. It was said to be a clash of footballing philosophies, as Michael Valkanis' side came into the match with the second strongest defence in the league, whilst Mark Milligan's men had the best attack. Young Raw striker Justin Vidic was set to line up against his former employers, whilst Lockie Bayliss came into the starting 11 for the Jets.
O'Shea tries it from distance, not taking any chances. In the Newcastle goal was James Delianov. Drives it back in. Shaughnessy's head up. Here's O'Shea, the back heel for McGarry. Brakas trying to get in a shooting opportunity. It's deflected wide by Shushnia. And it comes, the header and the goal, Lucas Harrington. Well, he had the right foot on that time, Georgios Brakas, who delivered it in. And the young Lucas Harrington gets just his second ever A-League goal. Brisbane growing in confidence. Here's Roos. Manages to get the cross in. Klein is there. I mentioned he is good in the air. He had plenty of work to do with that one. He's unstuck. Fracas with Vidic again. 3 orange shirts at the edge of the area. Vidic went down under that challenge. Now O'Shea trying to curl it, palmed away by Delianov. Let's see the Newcastle Jets line up at the bottom of your screen there. There's Dobson. Dobson continues. Oh, that was a really good chance. The flag stayed down. It was almost a gift out of nothing for Newcastle. Burgess still. Across here, Wilmering deciding to take the bit between the teeth and have a go himself. O'Shea now with the switch. McGarry. McGarry into Henry Hoare. Goes down. Penalty. Alexander Shushnya adjudged to have committed the foul. And a chance here to make it safe, and he does. Jay O'Shea, Brisbane's top scorer this season, with his second penalty. Now, will the flag go up for offside here? Quinn McNichol on the charge again. Oh, and it's gone in. And it stands. Well, that was hit like an absolute missile off the boot of Quinn McNichol. It was saved onto the post and then hit James Delianov. And Brisbane Roar have a third goal. It is a big win for Brisbane Roar as they climb up to 4th in the league standings at the end of round 4 in this first ever match at the Sunshine Coast Stadium. A second win of the season for Brisbane Roar. And it's finished here on the Sunshine Coast. Brisbane Roar 3, Newcastle Jets 0.
So after 4 rounds, reigning premiers Auckland FC remain on top of the ladder, followed by Sydney FC and Melbourne City, with the Western Sydney Wanderers and Perth Glory still winless this season. Join us again after the international break as we bring you another action-packed round of fixtures, headlined by the Big Blue between Sydney FC and Melbourne Victory. Catch you then.